From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the Noon News on this Friday. I'm Andrea Lutz. New at noon, we begin out of Helena. Two Montana brothers are now federally charged in the January 6 riots at the nation's capital. Joshua and Jared Hughes face a half a dozen charges, and charging documents say the pair accosted Capitol Officer Eugene Goodman. He's the man who protected Senate chambers by diverting the mob. The complaint says the brothers turned themselves in to Helena police after seeing themselves on the news. An investigation is underway in Anaconda after a student phoned in an apparent anonymous threat to shoot up the school, and authorities say charges against that student are likely. The threat came in at around noon on Thursday. The high school and surrounding schools went into lockdown. A lockdown, of course, meaning students and staff were prevented from entering or leaving. And on top of that, school officials said police presence was increased. Anaconda police eventually located that male student who made the threat.
It's a sigh of relief. Everybody loves hearing when there's no threat, when we get out of any kind of a lockdown situation or any kind of threat situation. I'm just incredibly thankful to our local law enforcement. They did a great job. They kept us informed the entire time, and they helped to mitigate the situation, just making people feel safer.
School is back at normal today. Bond is now set at $1 million for a man that was accused of allegedly trying to beat and abduct a woman near Lockwood. Now, 34-year-old Terry Smith pleaded not guilty to 10 charges. Those include felonies of aggravated kidnapping, assault on a peace officer, and possession of a dangerous drug. Court documents reveal Smith tried to force a 20-year-old victim to pull her car over, and he crashed into it. Then she got out, and Smith grabbed her, punched her, and slammed her against the car. When someone in another car pulled up to the scene, that's when the woman was able to escape. Smith then led police on a lengthy high-speed chase before being arrested. All right, we do want to check in now on the weather because it is the weekend. And we always want to know what it's going to be like outside.
Well, a bit of a mixed bag out there. We have a chance. We are seeing some snow out there. Let's go ahead and show the radar. Now, we do have a nice slug of moisture from south of Missoula up to Great Falls where we're seeing some snow. Some icy conditions there tonight through tomorrow morning. We're seeing some rain just north of Billings as well. But a good chance we could see at least some rain snow mix tonight through tomorrow morning. But wait until we get to the middle part of next week. That's when we have a better chance of seeing the snow. Temperatures out there right now in the 30s and 40s. We could see some 50s for highs in northern Wyoming today. Here are your headlines. We've got a big pattern change coming in mid next week. Could see the coldest temperatures of the season. We'll have a good chance for accumulating snow, and this cold spell could hold on for a while, could grab a hold of us. We'll take a look at that with the main forecast coming up. Andrea.
All right, thanks, Miller. New at noon, the Montana High School Association has approved a winter sports state tournament plan. And if you're wanting to watch, you should know spectator guidelines will vary. The first ever girls state wrestling tournament will take place in Lockwood in 3 weeks, and the boys meet will be held in March. It will take place in Miles City and Shelby. Boys and girls state basketball will happen in March in Billings, Butte, and Bozeman. And swimming is set for March in Great Falls and tentatively Polson. For full details, you can head to montanasports.com. A big change is coming for Lolo School, as the school is now put on the market for selling. The school has been there since the 1800s, but the district, of course, wants to move from that busy location on Highway 93 to a safer place. Lolo voters approved a $22 million bond to build a new school on Farm Lane, and the district is listing the site for $4.1 million. They hope to lease the property if it's sold before a new school is built. Governor Greg Gianforte has optimism when it comes to the future of Montana. In his first State of the State address, he focused on the pandemic and the economy. And the governor also called for changes to Montana's tax system. Gianforte mentioned his support for a few bills that are currently in the legislature, such as stopping sanctuary cities and a pair of abortion bills as well. But the theme of his speech was the ability for Montanans to bounce back.
If there's anything this year has taught us, it's that Montanans can handle anything. We met the test. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of our state is strong. But it's more than strong. The state of our state is resilient.
Representative Lori Bishop of Livingston gave the Democratic response to this speech, and she says the governor's plan doesn't go far enough to help low and middle income Montanans. Wall Street rebounded a day after experiencing its biggest loss in 3 months, but GameStop was not part of the rally. The video game retailer's stock fell sharply after some online investment services restricted trading. Several politicians now are among those asking why individual investors were cut off from trading certain stocks like GameStop, while hedge funds were free to continue. And by its close of day, the price was down 44% to $193 a share. In Great Falls, a new phone line is up and running to help people get signed up for a COVID-19 vaccine. According to the Cascade City County Health Department, the phone line crashed after it went live this morning, but they say it crashed because so many people were calling in. Of course, again, it's back up and running. After the worst surge in COVID cases in the country is seen, experts are now saying that numbers are starting to drop. Case numbers fell 35% from January 11th. The burden on hospitals, though, is also starting to let up. The COVID Tracking Project says they've seen a decrease in virus hospitalizations in every major U.S. region. But the country is seeing more cases of COVID-19 in children. Researchers say there's a 16% increase in the last 2 weeks. There's also more cases of multi-system inflammatory syndrome. That's that rare condition which can inflame organs. It has health officials wondering if a more contagious variant of COVID has something to do with it. A group overseeing the health of the Clark Fork River is getting some big financial help. The Clark Fork Watershed Education Program received a $1 million grant from the state. The group can continue now to be stewards of the watershed by speaking in classrooms about the watershed, which of course is a Superfund site.
We have students who have no idea that they live in and around waste. And so what our program seeks to create is scientifically literate citizens. And they'll be able to meet the challenges of the future with managing this waste, and essentially they'll be managing it themselves one day.
The funding will keep the project going for another 3 years. We do have more ahead on the new news on this Friday, including this: could our national parks pose as a death trap? We're learning how Yellowstone ranks in a story that's coming up right after the break. But first, meteorologist Miller Robson is back in with a look at that statewide weather forecast.